So we continue with question number 75. A borrows from B rupees 500 to bet C. Can B recover the amount of his loan? Here the thing is bet. Whether the bet is legal or illegal, we have to see. As the bet is illegal under section 23 of the Contract Act, this agreement falls under section 23 and hence it is illegal. And next, in question 76, Asim unlawfully detains Anil to obtain his vacant flat at and some enclave valuing 50 lakhs at 40 lakhs only. So this is what this kind, it is a coercion. It is not undue influence, as we discussed earlier. Undue influence, whether boss to his servant, that is undue influence. If fraud means by wantedly do some mistake to others, and by force, it means by showing some knife or something, that is by force. So here it is called coercion. Next, a contract which is to be enforceable by law becomes, when once the contract is not enforceable by law, it is a void contract. Mr. A promises to Mr. B without any intention of performing it. So here there is no intention to perform. So it is called fraud, right? It is called fraud because here he do not have any intention to do, just like that he has given the word or given a promise, that is called fraud. And an advertisement for sale of goods by auction, this is a case of so this is just an advertisement. Here auction is not started, just it is an advertisement. So advertisement comes under general offer, right? If already goods are kept, if our goods are kept for the auction, if goods are ready, then we will call it as an invitation to offer. But here goods are not yet ready, but they advertise that at some point of time this auction will be done. An offer comes to an end by, when the offer will come to an end, once it was accepted. So here offer will come end by either it should be accepted or revocation, means if we taken back, then that also it is end. So here the revocation is the answer. Once it is accepted, offer will be completed, but an offer comes to an end when it is revocated. Revocation means taken back. If it is communicated, then someone will accept it. Now 81, a stranger to a contract can file a suit. Already this one also we discussed earlier. Next one, because normally strangers cannot file the suit, but exceptions are there for that. Next, of the following, who is competent to enter into a contract? Minor is not competent to enter into a contract. Unsound mind cannot to enter into a contract. Lunatic cannot enter into a contract. This is a kind of madness. And sound mind, a person who is sound mind only can enter into contract. So answer is D. Next, 83. A minor can be appointed as agent, whether he can be appointed as agent or not. So here it is a valid. Minor can be appointed as a agent. Next, 84. A delivers a basket of mangoes to B, mistaking him to be as Mr. C, and Mr. B consumes those mangoes. So A sold to B by thinking he is C, and B consumed the mangoes. Now in this, 4 options were given to you, but the first one is Mr. B is bound to pay compensation to Mr. A for the values of mango, because A is by mistake he did, and so not in a good faith. So wantedly he didn't do. So that's the reason why B is bound to pay, right? And other 3 options you see, Mr. B is not bound to pay any compensation as there was no agreement between A and B. That is not correct. Mr. B is bound to pay compensation for value of mango and damages. Here no need to pay the damages, so only the value. If you pay the value, that is sufficient, because there should be no unjust enrichment. right? Next one, agreement of which the consideration is inadequate is, if consideration is not adequate, it is valid. So there is nothing that a consideration should not be at par. There is no condition that consideration must be at par. Okay, so this is a valid. Next one, Mr. A promises in writing to pay time barred debt to Mr. B. This is time barred debt, because time if debt is time barred, it is normally it is not enforceable. But A promises in writing to pay time barred debt to the B, so that is enforceable. Next one, when both the parties to an agreement are under a mistake as to matter of fact essential to an agreement, the agreement is, so agreement is valid. So both parties are agreeing here, are under a mistake as to matter of the fact. So both are doing the mistake as a matter of the fact unknowingly, so it is a valid agreement. Mr. Ajit threatened to commit suicide. Already we have seen this one earlier. So wife executed the sale deed. This is this is a voidable, means if actually wife want that one, they can enforce the agreement. So it is a voidable agreement, not void agreement. It is a voidable agreement. If wife do not want, she can void the or cancel the agreement. And under section 2b of Indian Contract Act, if the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent there to the proposal is said to have been. If one assent is given, it is accepted, not agreed, it is accepted. Offer acceptance, so it is accepted. And an auction sale is complete on the at payment of price, delivery of goods, fall of hammer. See that the auction, if you see the auction, they will take 1, 2, 3. At the third beat, it will be completed. So an auction will be completed on fall of hammer. That is C. Seller can raise the price by fictitious bids in an auction sale with the help of fictitious bids in the auction with the help of puffers. Puffers means actually they do not want for the bid, just for to raise the price in the auction, they will come and sit. So these are called puffers. And these for making for hiking the price fictitiously, they will come into picture. Mr. A obtained mobile set from Mr. B by fraud. Mr. A has a voidable title at the option of Mr. B. Before Mr. B could rescind the contract, Mr. A sold same to Mr. C, who purchased from Mr. A in good faith and without knowledge of fraud of A, and paid for it. In this case, who will be the owner? And here C has good title in the goods, because see, first one, A obtained mobile set from B by fraud. He took it by fraud. So there the good consent is not there, good faith is not there. But whereas the C has the good faith, wherever the good faith is there, he will become the one, because C don't know about those things, right? So as C has taken in good faith and he paid also, he will be the owner. Delivery of goods means, then in the 90 question, what about Mr. B? Okay, what about Mr. B? Mr. B can file a suit against Mr. A. That's all. Now on 93, delivery of the goods means, what is the delivery of the goods? Delivery of goods means transfer of the goods from one person to other. So in this, in the 93, voluntary transfer of possession. Voluntary transfer of possession, not compulsory, voluntary. Okay. For a valid contract of sale, delivery may be, it might be the actual delivery. I have said 3 types of deliveries will be there. One is actual delivery, one means actually giving one thing. If I am selling one laptop, I will give one laptop to other. Or if I am selling one mobile, I give one mobile to other. That is actual delivery. Symbolic delivery. If I am selling one house, I will give the keys of that house to other. That is symbolic delivery. Constructive delivery, that is the third one, means through documents or anything. So these are the 3 types of the deliveries. So all the above, 94 5 D. Then 95, every instrument payable otherwise than on demand is entitled to dash days of grace period. As per the act, it is 3. How many days will be allowed? 3 days will be allowed. So answer is B. Inchoate instrument is that is nothing but an instrument incomplete in some respect. Means incomplete. Inchoate means incomplete instrument. Name might not be there, sign might not be there, or date might not be there, something whatever it might be. So sorry, right. Which of the following is not a negotiable instrument as per Negotiable Instrument Act? Bill of exchange is a negotiable instrument, and check is a negotiable instrument. What about the share certificate? Share certificate also a negotiable instrument. But see here, sorry, delivery note. Delivery note is also a negotiable instrument. Share certificate is also a negotiable instrument, but it will not cover under the Negotiable Instrument Act because it do not have some qualifications what a negotiable instrument should have. Okay, so like bearer or endorsing, bearer, all these many things are there for the Negotiable Instrument Act. So share certificate is not a negotiable instrument. All other three are the negotiable instrument. The basic thing of the negotiable instrument is the transfer of the money or the transfer of the instrument should be very easy from one person to other. In the case of the share certificate, registration also should take place. Once the registration has taken place, then only share certificate will be transferred from one person to other person. Whereas bill of exchange, delivery note, check can be by giving itself, means by giving that note itself, the position will be transferred, of ownership will be transferred. Next one. How many parties involved in the bill of exchange? How many parties? The total 3 parties. Payer, paid, royal, like this. So total 3 parties will be there in the bill of exchange. One who pays, one who to be paid, right? And to whom we are paying. On the middle, one bank or something will be there. So total 3 parties will be there. Next one. A void agreement is one which is not enforceable by law. Void agreement is nothing but it cannot be enforced by law. A contract is formed when the acceptor has done something to signify his intention. So acceptors should tell that should communicate it. If we keep in the mind, or if we just read the offer, that is not the acceptance. So A is the answer. Express offers and acceptance may be provided by the agreement between the parties, but implied offers can be proved only by. So there are the 2 types of offers are there: express offer, implied offer. Express means one we will express our, okay, I am offering you this one. That is the express offer. For example, if you go to the market, they will sell the vegetables, they sell the fruits by shouting. That is the express offer. Whereas implied offer, if you go to one hotel and if you sit there, the menu will be there. That is the implied offer. Okay. So here the words, the conduct, and last one, both B circumstantial evidence, and D is both B and C. So here both B and C, the conduct and circumstantial evidence. So no need of words, even by the conduct also we can make. So both B and C. Next one. Sections 4 and 5 of Indian Contract Act provide the communication of offer and acceptance and revocation thereof. In this relation, which one of the following is not correct? They have given some 4 options for you. Communication of offer is complete when it reaches the offeree. So that is correct only. So when it reaches the offeree, communication will be completed. Revocation of acceptance is complete when acceptance is posted in favor of the proposal. That is also correct. So a proposal may be revoked at any time before communication to the acceptance. Before communicating the acceptance, he can take back his offer. That is also correct. Acceptance may be revoked at any time before communicating to the acceptance. That is not the thing. Acceptance cannot be revoked. Once you have accepted, you have to make it out. So D is the answer. D is not correct, so that is the answer. And one, consider the following statements. Consideration is a motive for any promise, a price, uh, a price for any promise, only a moral obligation, something of value in the eye of law of these statements. Now, in this, which are the correct? Which are the correct? Here we can see 2 and 4 are the correct, because a motive for any promise, that is not a motive for any promise, and it is not a moral obligation, it is not only the moral obligation. So a price for any promise, that is the consideration, and fourth one, something of value in the eye of the law, that is also consideration. So 2 and 4. Next, 104. Two persons have the capacity to contract if both are not out of unsound mind. Okay, if none is disqualified from the contracting by any law to which he is subject, if both have attained the age of majority. So all these things are to be must be there. So all the above, D is the answer. Next, 105. Which of the following types of persons are not disqualified from contracting? So foreign sovereigns, they are not disqualified. Alien enemies are disqualified. Convicts are disqualified. So answer is 105. What is the answer? None of the right. Here the answer is none of the above. Why? Because foreign sovereigns who are there, they can enter into contract. Alien enemy can enter into the contract on basis of some conditions which is laid by the government, or convicts also can enter into the contract, right? Because they might be convicted on other case, but they are not unsound mind. So none of the above is the answer for 105, right? Next, A agrees to sell B 100 tons of oil. There is nothing whatever to show what kind of oil was intended. The agreement is, see here, there is no intention. Actually, there is no intention of good faith, or this whatever you want to give to others, or whatever you want to sell, he is not showing that one. So here it is what I can say, it is a void for uncertainty. It is a void because it is uncertain. So void for uncertainty, it is not valid or voidable or illegal. Next one, A promised B to obtain an employment for him in a public office. B promised to pay 2000 to A for this. B gets the job through A but refuses to pay money. A can challenge. Here see, this is a kind of bribing, right? So this bribing and illegal things cannot be challenged. So what he can do? So he can sit quiet. He can do nothing. Next, which one of the following is not a characteristic of the contingent contract? Again, once again we are telling contingent means uncertain. Okay, so which is not a character? Performance depends upon some future event. That's why it is uncertain. The event must be uncertain, so it is uncertain. The event must be collateral to the contract. The event to be collateral to the contract, and that is also uncertain. There must be reciprocal promises. So this is not the part. So D is the answer. D is not a characteristic of a contingent contract. And coming to 109, A gives a recognizance binding him in a penalty of 500 to appear in the court on a certain day. He forfeits his he recognized, and he is liable to pay the whole penalty. When he himself, he didn't pay the penalty, and that is the court, right? Court fine. So he has to pay. Okay, and agreement by way of waiver or agreement by way of waiver are void. If it is vague contract, it is a void. A valid tender or offer of performance must be made at proper place. Okay, time is not a criteria. Made from the proper person, and place, time is a criteria. And made at a proper time, so time is the criteria. Made at a proper place, place is the criteria. Made at a proper person, because he should not be on sound mind or anything. So these three are required: time, place, person. Three are required. So answer is D, all the above. So all the above is the answer. Next one. A. Dealing in a baby foods sends samples by train for being exhibited at a consumer product show. Which fact was made known to the railway company? The goods reached the destination after the show was over. A sued the railway company for damages. A will be entitled. Here A want to make one some show, but the goods he kept in the train. The train reached slowly. So by that time this show was completed. So can he sue for that one? So here whether he can sue for ordinary damages, or he cannot sue, no damages. Exemplary damage means some exempted damage or special damages. So here he can go for the special damages. That is answer is D. Goods means, as per that, so the goods means every kind of movable property other than actionable claims and money. That first one we have seen, that one. Every money and debt instruments and other actionable claims are not included. So it should be movable and except claims and money. And future goods are means future goods, and by present their existence is not there. So future goods are that can be subject matter. Okay, they can be subject matter of sale. Okay, because future you are going to do something that you are going to sell. So for the future goods also you can enter into the contract. The doctrine of caveat emptor is not applicable. The doctrine of caveat emptor is not applicable where the seller is guilty of fraud. Caveat emptor means in good faith. So if you are doing anything in the good faith, it is okay, we can accept that one. But where the seller is guilty or fraud, this caveat emptor cannot be accepted. Nemo dat quad non habet means nemo dat quad non habet. It means none. Nemo means none. None can give who does not himself possess. Nemo dat quad non habet means whatever we possess, that only you can give to others. If you are owner only, you can transfer the ownership. Without being owner, you cannot transfer the ownership. None can give who does not himself possess. Next, unpaid seller can exercise his right of withholding delivery of goods. This again, it is this question is repeating. Even when property in the goods has passed to the buyer, even if you given the goods and you understood that you are unpaid seller, and because for you that amount didn't come, so you are an unpaid seller, you can stop it. Where the sale is not notified to be subject to a right to bid on behalf of seller, and the auctioneer knowingly takes any bid from the seller or any such person, the sale shall be treated as dash. Means it is treated as fraudulent sale. See here, knowingly they are doing the fraud, so it is a fraudulent sale. When a check is payable across the counter of the bank, it is called, means now you are paying across the bank, so it is a open check. Actually what is others cross check, restricted check means you will cross something, or you will write to payable to only particular person. Here nothing is written, so it is a open check. Law of contract. Law of contract means it deals with only such a legal obligation which rise from agreement. So law of contract deals with only such a legal obligation rise from the agreement. And for an acceptance to be valid, it must be absolute and unqualified. You have to keep this one in mind. It should be absolute. The acceptance should be absolute. What you are going to accept, it should be absolute and unqualified. You should not keep the conditions. If you are accepting one thing, you have to absolutely you have to take it. Absolute and unqualified. Next one. If the communication is made by an unauthorized person, it does not result a or an. If an unauthorized person means who might not be possessing goods, or by fraud or whatever it may be, he is an unauthorized person. So if an unauthorized person is, then it does not an agreement. Okay, When agreement is not there, contract itself will not be there. So basically there is no agreement. And an offer does not, so answer is B. And 123, an offer does not lapse if an offer does not lapse if what will happen, acceptance is made by the offeree in ignorance of the death of the offerer. So if offer does not lapse, even though the offerer who offered the goods has died, but acceptance was made without knowing that he was dead, then we can take this offer does not lapse. Means it should by his legal heirs or someone, they have to take he has to make this offer, right? An agreement without consideration is void under some sections are given. Here you have to keep that section in the mind. None of the above clause in the section 25. Actually that is not 25 1 3 or 2, it is 4. So it is some other section. So it is not 25 1 3 or 2. So none of the clauses in section 25, right? Next, so answer is D for 124. And coming to an agreement without consideration is void except in case of compensation for except in case of compensation for voluntary services rendered. When voluntary services rendered, you have an agreement without the even the consideration is not there, is void except for all others it is void except in the case of compensation for voluntary services. Okay, if voluntary services are rendered at the request of the party, again it is exempted. Or voluntary services rendered at the third person request, when request is there, it will not come under this. So voluntary services will be rendered, then an agreement without consideration is void except in the compensation for voluntary services rendered, in no other conditions. Which of the following is not competent to contract? So a minor, a person of unsound mind. A person of unsound mind is not competent. Okay, and certainly a minor we will see. And third one, a person who has been disqualified from contracting by law, so he is also automatically is not there. And last one, all the above. Here it is not there, so last one is all the above. And so a minor is also not competent. Why? Because he is not matured mind will be there, but on his behalf someone can enter, his agent or someone, his guardian, or can enter into the contract. So minor is not eligible, unsound mind and a disqualified person, these three are not eligible. So all the above. D is the answer for 126. And active concealment of fact, concealment means hiding the fact, is associated with one of the following. If you hide the fact, it will come under fraud. If you hide the fact, it is not misrepresentation. If misrepresentation means you will tell something others, but here totally you are hiding, so it is a fraud. The validity of contract is not affected by, the validity of contract is not affected by mistake of Indian law. If it is mistake of fact or misrepresentation or fraud, these three it will be affected. If there is a mistake in the law, contract cannot be affected, we can do nothing, it will be a loophole sometimes. Next, A promises to B to pay 100 rupees if it rains on Monday, means some condition is there, and B promises A to pay 100 if does not rain on Monday. This agreement is, see, one is telling I will pay you 100 rupees if something event happens, other is telling if that event does not happen I will pay you the 100 rupees. What kind of agreement is this? This is a wagering agreement. Okay, next one. A borrows from B 500 and to bet with C. Again the bet, the word you have to keep in the mind is bet, and C and can B recover the amount of his loan. Same thing, whatever this is a repeated question, so on such questions you have to keep some mind because it might come in your exam. So here the answer is D. No, the agreement is wagering agreement and falls under section 23. Under section 20 is illegal agreement and hence it is a void agreement. And which of the following statement is true in connection with the contingent contract? Contingent, again same question repeating. Contingent means which might happen or might not happen. So here the the collateral event is contingent. The collateral means the parallel events are the contingent, right? So answer is A. Which of the following statements is true in connection with the contingent? That is the collateral. The collateral, if the collateral event is certain, again it will not be contingent. So that is second one is false. The contingency event may be mere will of the promisor. That is also not. The main event should be contingent. So these are all wrong. So answer is A. So 131A. And coming to quasi contracts or means this one also it is repeating. Quasi contracts, actually these are not the contracts which offer and acceptance and other things are there. Automatically we knowingly or unknowingly enter into the contract. Now enter into this contract. So it is relations which create certain obligations resembling those created by a contract. So relations which create certain obligations, automatically obligations are created. Okay, and so answer is B. One more secret, students, here. If you have doubt in the 4 options, whichever is longer one, normally the longer one, because more explanation will be there in the long sentences, that will be the right answer 90% cases only, right? Next, this is secret. And 133, if the performance of contract becomes impossible because of the subject matter of contract has ceased, means he died, or if for example you enter into a contract for a horse, that when you are purchasing the horse died, then what happened for the contract? So what happens? Neither the party is liable. So no one is liable for that one. Actually the party itself and the subject matter itself extinguished. So no buying, no selling will be there. And a valid contract of sale. A valid contract of sale is includes an agreement to sell. So it is valid contract of sale. Other the things does not include agreement of sale. That is wrong. Includes hire purchase of contract and includes contract for work and labor. So the valid contract includes an agreement to sell. So answer is A. Next, 135, transfer of goods. Transfer of documents of title to goods sold to the buyer amounts to. So here what you are giving? You are giving some documents. If you are giving some documents, it is a symbolic delivery. Keys, documents, whatever given, it is a symbolic delivery. Next, right of stoppage in transit can be exercised again for unpaid seller. Where what are the what are the options are there for you in this? Has lost his right to off lien, not is still enjoys his right of lien. So still he enjoys the right of lien, means right of lien means even in the transit also he can get it back. So still enjoys his right of lien. The Sale of Goods Act 1930 governs the transfer of property in. So here it should be, already we have seen, it should be a mobile property, right? But not money and other claims. So here mobile property. So A is the answer, not immobile property. Next, property in the goods of sale of goods means, here the property means, what is the property? Here it is ownership of goods. Property means ownership. Transfer of property, transfer of ownership. Transfer of goods means transfer of property means transfer of ownership. So property means ownership, right? Right of stoppage of in transit by exercised by the unpaid seller. Again and again it is repeating. It is very very important question. So please take care of this one. And it is taking the actual position of, either he can take the actual position of the goods or giving the notice of claim to the carrier or bailey who holds the goods. Means whoever is holding the goods, he can give the notice. So what he can do either A or B. Either he can take the actual position of the goods, he can take the lien rate, and so he can take the goods, or he can give the notice of his claim to the carrier or bailey, means who is holding the goods. Okay, so either of this one. Next, the term negotiable instrument is defined in Negotiable Instrument Act 1881 under section 13. So it is, answer is B. So under section 13, negotiable instruments are defined. Negotiable instruments defined under section 13. 13 is the number which we never like. Normally the English people never like number 13. So that's why negotiable instruments also kept in that one. Just for your remembrance, I am telling later. So, under section 141, the Negotiable Instrument Act comes into force on. When the Negotiable Instrument Act came into force, we know it is 1881, because already it is given 1881, and it came into force on the 1st March 1882. But we will say it is 1881. So for the confusing, they will give the years of 1881, but actually it came into force at 1st March 1882. Okay, that one you have to keep in mind. And a promise note must be in writing or unconditional, signed by the maker. So everything should be there. It should be in the writing. It should be unconditional, no condition, that whatever we have seen earlier, and it's signed by the maker who is preparing that one. He has to sign. So this is the promise note. Promissory note should have all the above. So with this, the MCQs of the law are completed. So in the next video we will try to see the other MCQs. And for this one, students, for preparing the law, you prepare section wise. So here only I am explaining the things, but what you have to do is, when you are preparing one act or anything, you prepare section wise and prepare one synopsis, that one. For that, then you will understand, and if possible you add some cases for that one. Means cases are like stories, so you will keep in mind those that Mohri Vivius, Dharmadas Ghosh, all these cases. If you read, what happens, because now time is not there. Actually when you are reading the law, you have to read with the cases and sections, then only that law you will get into your blood. Okay, however, best of luck.